Hello everyone, this is Dr. Daniel Jude and I am recording for social statistics, and this is the YouTube series for the class. So today we'll be covering chi-square, and it is mostly used for categorical entries and pivot tables, of course. So let's get to this. First I'm going to do the in-class demonstration. Sorry, I got the hiccups. In Excel, you need to highlight data, insert pivot table into new worksheet, and I will demonstrate in class. Here I have made a fictitious data set. You can see here is, first this is our job ID, not our job ID, but our person ID. This is the person number that responded. This is person 1, person 2, person 3, person 4, so on and so forth. This is if they recidivated or not. In other words, and recidivation means recommit the crime, or at least after they're released from a facility, they recommitted the crime. If it says yes and no, they did not. They moved on and did not recommit any crimes. Gender is self-explanatory. We have 3 types of gender that we measured. Race, we have a few races we measured. Ages, mostly 18 through 29, I believe. It is 18 through 29. And then if they stayed in facility A, if they stayed in facility B, or if they stayed in facility C. You can only have yes in one of these 3 options, as you can see here. No, yes, no. So this person stayed in facility B, this person stayed in facility C, this person stayed in facility A. This is coded so that it's in different columns that we can easily track it in the data. Now we have a robbery. Did they commit robbery? Yes. Or did they commit murder? No. And the way I entered this is they only committed one or the other to make things a little simpler. So you can see this person did robbery, this person did robbery, this person did robbery, and this person did murder. So to break it down, person 1, they did recidivate, so they recommitted. They were male, they were white, 23-year-old. They stayed in facility A, and they were in there for robbery. That is how you read this data from across so far. Okay. So now that that's put out of the way, the first step is to actually filter. So in order to filter, I'm going to zoom in now. Actually, it's already zoomed in quite nicely. So I am going to do the filtering. So in order to filter, we want to highlight all the variables from row 1. So just click on the row 1 over here, and then go to your home button, and then go all the way over to sort and filter. Click that, and then hit the filter. The filter will always look like this little funnel. So click the funnel, and then we have filtering. Now what filtering does is, let's say that we want to look at murder cases only. We can go ahead down here and select yes. And now it will show us only the murder cases. If you want to see the other cases again, simply click on your funnel next to murder, and then hit clear filters, and then it shows the data set. Let's say that we only want to see facility A people. Well, we're going to clear all, we're going to select all, and then we're going to hit yes on this one. And then we'll see only those that stayed in facility A. Again, clear filter. So that is the data. So what we need to do is we need to do a chi-square analysis on our yes-no data set here. Remember I said that chi-square and pivot tables are mostly used for categorical data. And as you see here, these are almost all categorical. It's a data set of words. ID is even categorical, so the only interval ratio data we have is our age. So now that we have said that forward, we're going to move on, and we're going to highlight the entire data set. We're going to hit Insert on the Insert tab right here, and then you're going to go all the way left to Pivot Tables. And then you're going to select a table or range, table/range, that's fine. We want it on a new worksheet. And this is what it'll show right here whatever you highlighted. And then that's all we need to do, so hit OK. Now you'll be presented, zoom in, with a pivot table box. So we're just going to click on that right here, and what we're going to do is, we don't need to click on it, but as you notice, if we click away from it, it will make this box disappear. To make that box reappear, just click in the pivot table ranges. So we're going to hit ID, because that's what we need. And it says sum of ID. That is incorrect. We don't want sum. That's just, it makes 210. What we need to do is we need to change sum, which is down here in the sigma values box, and we need to value field settings, and we want to change that to count, and hit OK. And now we have a sample size of 20. Well, let's take a look at this data set again, and we over here, and I'll show you the dependent variables. The dependent variable in this case is recidivation. We're interested in if the person recidivated or not, based on the facility they stayed in, which is our independent variable, based on the crime that was committed, and based on their age. So that's the three variables we'll be looking at. So now that we have that out of the way, our dependent variable is recidivation, so it goes in rows. I put it in columns. It goes in rows. So now that we have our table, we have 11 people in this data set that did not recidivate. They did not recommit after being put in the facility, and we had 9 people that did, that recommitted after being released from the facility. So we are interested first in the facility they stayed in. So we're going to do one table at a time for facility A. And remember, your independent variables go into your columns. It will create something that looks like this. So here we are with count of ID, column labels, and it shows no, yes. This is a pivot table. So we now know that the people that did not recidivate, 4 of them stayed in facility A because, yes, they stayed in facility A, but they did not recidivate. Okay. Now for the people that did recidivate, 3 of them stayed in facility A. So we're interested in the yes button right here, okay? Because the no, that means they didn't recidivate. So did not stay in facility A, no, did not recidivate. Did yes stayed in facility A, 6 did not recidivate. So what we're going to do here, and this is our grand totals, what we're going to do here is we're going to take a look at facility B, so we'll uncheck that and then move facility B. So for facility B, did not recidivate, did not stay in facility B, did not recidivate, okay? But the ones that did stay, did recidivate, 2 were in facility B, okay? So they did recidivate, and 2 people that also matched up with that are also in facility B. So facility B is looking pretty good. Only 2 people that stayed in there recidivated. So we'll clear that again. For facility C, did not recidivate, 2 were staying, and the ones that did recidivate, 4 were staying. So it looks like facility B has the best numbers. So let's investigate facility B by performing a chi-square analysis on facility B. So we're going to start chi-square. We're going to hit copy. We're going to paste the table completely as is, except we're going to go to paste special, and we're going to paste values only. So there's a little arrow here. Paste values only, and you'll get a little bare bones looking box. We're going to take this bare bones looking box, and we're just going to copy and paste it right below it. Same thing. And this will start our chi-square analysis. So what we're going to do first is, this is what you call our actual range. This is the numbers, non-adjusted, everything. Now this, we're going to clear these down here. We're going to clear these 4 numbers here. The no, yes, no, yes, no, yes. And what we're going to do here is, one, I'm going to clear this up, okay? So remember, no, it means they did not recidivate. And no here means did not stay in A. And this one says did stay in A. And we're going to go with that just so we can not be so confused while we're doing that. We're just going to highlight this right here, and we're going to bring it over so we can see a little bit better. So now that we have that, we're going to do the same thing up here. So now we have that. So no, did not stay in A, no, did stay in A, yes, did not stay in A, yes, did stay in A. Again, we're actually looking at B, I believe. My bad. So it's talking about B. I don't know why. Sorry for that confusion. So we're talking about B. Just to make sure we're talking about B. Yep, we are in fact talking about B. So now we have our labeled. Let's actually go even more detail, okay? Did not recidivate. Did recidivate. Let's copy paste that. And there we go. So now that's a bit more clear. Alright, so here we go. Now what we need to do in order to fill in these blanks after we delete these, so we need to do a little formula, equals, you want to hit equals, and you want to go all the way to the row grand total. And then you want to multiply the row grand total by the column grand total, and then you want to divide all of that by the grand total of everything, or your sample size in this case, and then enter, and it will give you 7.15. Now we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to repeat this: equal row total multiplied by column total divided by grand total. Enter. Equal row total multiplied by column total divided by grand total. Enter. Equal row total multiplied by column total divided by grand total equal. And this is what you call the expected rate, expected values. And these is what is called, this table here is called your observed values, or your actual values. Okay? So now we're going to do a chi-square test. We're going to go down here and hit equal chi, and you'll say chi-test. Okay? So we're just going to click chi-test. Now it's going to ask for your actual range first. So you go up to your actual or observed. Okay? This is the same thing, observed and actual. We're going to highlight all the values. Okay? And I'm going to put a comma in my picture. Again. And we're going to, so I'm going to start that over again so everyone can see it. So we're going to hit equal chi test, equal chi, and we're going to go down to the bottom, chi test. This will open up. It's going to ask for your actual range first. So we're going to go to our observed values, which is the same thing as actual range. And then we're going to highlight everything in there. Now it's going to ask for a comma. Don't forget your comma, so hit your comma. Now it's going to ask for expected range next. Remember, here's our expected value. So we're going to highlight everything here. We're going to close that off and hit enter. It will shoot out a p-value. This is our p-value. In other words, there's not enough data basically for this. We only got a sample size of 20. There's no evidence, according to us, based on our small sample size, that facility B leads to less recidivation. And the reason why we picked facility B here is it had the lowest amount of recidivation with 2 people. The expected values would be 3. In other words, 2 and 3 really aren't that different. Okay, so it gave a high p-value. In high p-values, oops, let me undo that. High p-values mean accept our null hypothesis, whereas a p-value equal to or less than 0.05, we reject null, which means there's an actual pattern going on here that will confirm our hypothesis, and our hypothesis being in this case, facility B has a lower recidivism rate when compared to facility A and facility C. So that is how you do a chi-square analysis. Now I'm going to show you, let's say that we want to do it for, let's say we want to do it for robbery, okay? Well, people that commit robbery recidivate. So we're going to go to their columns and put robbery in there. Now we're going to clear this out and do this again. So here we are with our robbery. So we're just going to do the same thing, copy, and we're going to paste values. Now I'm going to show you a shortcut here. This is the whole purpose of doing it again. I'm going to show you a shortcut this time. And again, I'm just going to copy this and paste it down here below. And this will be our expected. And this is our observed. Or actual. All right. So observed or actual. Now that that's being said, let's go ahead and clear this out. So to break this down, so these people did not recidivate. So and these people recidivated. 8 people that did not recidivate committed robbery, and the people that did recidivate, 7 of those committed robbery. And I can already tell you there's not going to be much of a difference here. So we're just going to go ahead and do our chi-square calculation. Equal this times this divided by that. Now we can go ahead and quickly this isn't if you have more than a 2x2 row, or 3x3 rather. So in order to hold things constant, so we're going to hold our row constant. So in other words, we're just going to stay in we're going to hold our G column constant. So we're going to put a $sign here. Now what that means is no matter how much you drag it, it's going to stay to G13. Okay? So let's look what happens. So we can drag it down. I need to add another $sign here. It wasn't a holding constant. Oh, because it's a Google Sheets term. So anyway, if you're in Google Sheets, you can hold things constant by putting $signs in. It should be working for Excel. I don't know why it's not. But that is what it is. But anyway, we can go ahead and do that. Equal this multiplied by this divided by that. Ran into a little technical difficulty there. Sometimes that happens. But we'll go ahead and do the analysis manually. It doesn't take too long on it. We'll do our equal chi test, and it's going to ask for the actual range. So here is our actual range, observed or actual, put that in, comma, expected, comma, and it's an extremely high p-value. So that means, as I said, these two numbers are too close together. There's no difference. So we can definitely reject null. So that is how you do chi-square. And I'm going to make part 2 of the video so it doesn't get so long because we're already at 17.5 minutes. And then I'm going to do the lecture on part 2.